Hiya friends. I'm going to do a short sequence to get you into that, that opposite position of what we do all day, right? We're not going to hold this and only be in this, but we're going to work that opposite way. And we're going to do a couple of smaller ones, which you can do without all of the props. And then we're going to move into a bigger version of it with the help of a chair. You need a chair that has a low back. I mean, these are the most ideal. The folding chairs are fantastic. Most yogis have one in their house, right? And that allows me to bring my shoulder blades onto it, right? I have a chair back I can grab and put my feet on. So you can find other chairs that work, but they shouldn't have wheels and roll around. And it can't be too high of a chair back in order for this to work, okay? I have a blanket over the back of that chair. So go ahead and get yourself set up, get all of that stuff, and grab a strap. And then once you're set there, come on back and hit start again. And we're going to start with something we've been doing the past couple of weeks. Actually, let me move this chair for a moment. Right, so I'm going to try to gradually bring you into a very large back bend with the help of the chair, but to just do that willy-nilly, not always awesome on our bodies, right? So we're going to stand up nice and tall in Tadasana. I have that strap. I'm a little wider than shoulder distance. And with an inhale, I'm going to lift my arms up. And when I get overhead, there's this activation of the shoulder girdle. So I'm going to soften my shoulders down away from my ears. And then I go as wide as I need to try to bring those arms back behind me. And go ahead and bring that around to the front. Sorry, I've got a little microphone wire being kind of wonky here. And inhale, lift up, crown of the head stays lifting. Try not to let your ribs move out in front of you as those arms move back behind you. And we're going to do one more of those. And maybe you just keep doing this, right? Each pose that we do, you can always stay in the pose before it, the less, what I'm going to call intense version. And you can work from that place and still get really wonderful upper back bend / chest opening, right? Now, make a loop out of your strap or tie the strap so that it ends up being about the distance of your shoulders, yeah? If you're working with a D-ring, it goes through two, separate the two. It'll go over the last one you went in and under the first one. That gives you something you can tighten, but which does not loosen. Again, I'm going to try to go about to my shoulder distance, from my outer shoulder to the outer shoulder. And then I'm going to put it around one wrist, and I'm going to wrist, and I'm going to bring it back and hold on to it so I don't drop it until I can get it around both wrists. Yeah? So now we're going to add strength factor. Stand up nice and tall, reach through the crown of the head. You're going to go ahead and you're going to start to move your shoulder heads, those are your outer shoulders, move them back just a little bit. Don't let the ribs puff out, of course. Keep the belly toned, the ribs knitted. And then I want you to go ahead and I want you to push out into the strap and feel how that area between your shoulder blades, around your shoulder blades, starts to activate, right? And breathing from that place. So it's just that. It doesn't have to be anything bigger. It doesn't have to be that I'm pushing out into the strap 120%, like I'm going to break it in half. I'm just pushing out into it enough that I feel the activation of my upper back muscles. Now keep the upper back muscles activated, and let's bring that neck work in we've been doing. I can't talk today. Maybe turning your head to the right. So keep the neck out of it. The shoulders can work separately from the neck. Inhale your head forward and exhale to the left. And then come back to center. Release the pressure into the strap. Release the strap off to the side. So there's one more I want to do before we go to the chair, right? And that is now interlace your hands. If that's not possible, interlock your thumbs, or you could work with the strap again. The strap again. Go ahead and stand up nice and tall in Tadasana. And then from there, you're going to go ahead and bend your elbows a little bit, please, right? It gives a little slack around the shoulder girdle, which we want for a second. Let your shoulders move up a little bit, like very little bit. Move back a little bit. Soften the shoulder blades down, and there's that collarbone broadening, right? I'm going to push into my sacrum to help that. And then I'm going to slowly start to straighten my arms, but if in straightening them I lose any of that work, I would just keep my elbows a little bent. I'm going to keep mine a little bent. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bend my knees, because it's not about the legs. And I'm going to fold about halfway in until my body, my torso, is parallel to the floor. Now let those knuckles continue to reach up. Keep moving the shoulders gently away from the ears. The ears move forward away from the shoulders. Take an inhale there, right? And then go ahead and start to fold in any amount, but try to keep the shape of the spine that you just created. It's the same thing, same shape we're going to get in just a moment for the most part, right? Don't let the head drop in today. You're still reaching through the crown of the head, the ears reaching away from the shoulders reaching away from the ears, and then reach the knuckles back to bring you all the way back up. And release. And pause. So you now have 3 options of things you can do. If it feels like this chair is too much, or you don't have the chair, bring the chair in. Again, you do want a blanket or something over that back, because otherwise that metal is pretty harsh on the body. Iyengar can be pretty harsh in that way, but they at least sometimes give us blankets on hard surfaces. Have the ball mounds of your feet down, and if you can, on whatever you're working with, you're going to bring your feet up onto the legs of the chair, right? I'm going to bring my buttocks forward. Now, everyone's got a different chair, and everyone's got a different length of torso. So I'm going to try to figure out my buttocks go as far forward as I need to get my shoulder blades, and you see I'm lifting up into saguaro cactus to get my shoulder blades, the bottom tips down. And I'm going to catch my bottom tips of my shoulder blades on the back edge, upper edge of the chair. Now I'm going to turn my palms forward, thumbs up to the sky, and I'm going to try to reach back, and if I can, if my chair has it, I'm going to grab onto the legs of the chair, right? Now from there, tone your belly, knit your ribs, and then reach through the crown of the head and lengthen, lengthen, lengthen the neck as much as you can. And yes, the chin might lift a little bit, but don't just lift the chin, be wiser than that. Work from your cervical spine. I'm going to stop turning towards the camera to make sure I don't hurt my neck, okay? Now this might be plenty, and you might be like, yowza, woo, right? I'm in. Some of us, we might push into our chairs with our feet, and we might start to lift our buttocks off of the chair, much like a bridge, we'll say. And then I'm going to knit my ribs, right? My frontal hip points move towards each other. And I'm going to reach the crown of my head back, 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 back first, and then I lay it back as if someone had hands there or a hammock there to catch the back of my head. You can hear I can still talk, right? I'm not damaging my trachea or my voice box. And take another breath. When you come up, friends, head is the last thing. So let the hips come down. And then once the hips are down, really slowly bring the head back up. You can move the buttocks back or just move the body forward and pause and notice what you notice from the practice so far, right? I'd like to do that one more time with one more stage, and that will be this sequence. By the way, the shape that we're going into, I mean, so many of the yoga shapes, we see them in different poses with different relationships to gravity. But this is a really great way to start to train for wheel pose, right? Or upward bow. Go ahead and let the, sorry, my feet are still on the chair. I didn't move those. If you moved yours, no worries, just put them up. Move the buttocks forward. You can do it from the ground, but then you have the possibility of your chair moving more, right? So this gets us a little more stability. I'm going to bring my bottom tips, again, come to saguaro cactus arms for a second. Walk your bottom tips of your shoulder blades down and get them caught on the upper rim of the chair. I'm going to leave my palms forward as I reach back, so I try to grab onto the legs of the chair, right? Now, before I lift up, I want to find my neck. It just gets harder. I'm going to tone my ribs and my belly, and I'm going to reach the neck, the crown of the head away and lengthen my neck, and then just gently start to move back a little bit, right? I push into my feet and I lift my hips. I keep my frontal ribs and hips moving to each other, and I keep reaching that crown of the head back and lengthening, lengthening, lengthening. Now I might just stay right here, or I might then reach my arms all the way overhead, right? And I might push into an imaginary block between my hands. Keep your knees moving into the midline, keep your frontal hip points, your ribs, take an inhale. Exhale, hands are going to come forward as the butt comes down and then the head comes up. If you watched that, that wasn't very graceful on my part. Maybe yours isn't either. And come into an upright posture and just notice what you notice. You can bring your feet down off the chair or not. So one more thing, just because we went woo, 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 it's a counteraction to what we do all day, but just to neutralize the spine out of those big back bends, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to put our hands on our thighs, and we're going to drape over the thighs. Let the head come down if it's okay. Let the hands drape down if it's okay. And just take about 4 breaths into that back body you have going on right now, right? Especially if there's anywhere that feels tight. If the low back feels a little sensitive, you know, I say it every dang time, don't go so far in. You do not yet, either you're not supporting muscularly, or maybe your muscles aren't strong enough to support that yet. Inhale, reach the chest forward, elongate the spine a little bit first. Hands on the thighs today. Push your body up and pause. Bring your palms together in front of your chest. Inhale. Exhale, bow the head in. Taking just a moment of gratitude. Being grateful for at least one thing. Namaste. May you be well.